Dio Brando. Son of Dario Brando and raised in a poor environment, Dio Brando is a hateful, envious, and egotistical individual who eventually grows up to become an absolute SOB. He is given a chance to live a new life thanks to a favor that George Joestar, patriarch of the Joestar family, owed to his father following a deadly accident. Dio is an ambitious, arrogant, and evil man who uses every tool he has to accomplish his goals without remorse. He clashed with and tormented his adoptive brother, Jonathan, burning his dog, beating him up, even kissing his girlfriend. And eventually, plotting to take the Joestar inheritance, he takes up a stone mask which turns him into a vampire. But this is no ordinary vampire. A stone mask vampire like Dio can shoot lasers from his eyes, create zombies, freeze body parts, and suck blood from his fingertips, on top of superhuman abilities. He creates an army of monsters and torments the local English countryside. Eventually, he is confronted by Jonathan Joestar, now a warrior of Hamon, a breathing style that channels solar energy into his attacks. Dio is defeated when Jonathan burns his physical body, KFC style. However, he is eventually beaten again when Jonathan restrains him and they drown in a sinking, exploding ship together. More on him in a bit. Cars and the Pillarmen. The Pillarmen come from an ancient civilization, similar to the Aztecs, and are extremely powerful compared to humanity. They are effectively immortal, very intelligent, physically near perfect, and have the ability to manipulate and transform their bodies at a cellular level. This enables regeneration and the live absorption of living beings. Cars and the remaining Pillarmen of Isidisi and Wamu are awoken in Mexico. Cars is the creator of the stone mask, using it in an effort to go beyond his tribe's limits and achieve perfection. He did this by seeking out the Red Stone of Asia, a powerful artifact that, when combined with the stone mask, would grant perfection, including immunity to sunlight, their weakness. All the Pillarmen here are arrogant and regard humans as inferior, apex predators at their core. Cars is a schemer, using his immortality and intelligence to carefully plan his path and manipulate others. He used acupuncture as his theory for the stone mask's effectiveness and is regarded as a genius amongst his former tribe, whom he destroyed. When he obtains the red stone and becomes the ultimate being, he gains flight, Hamon powers equal to the sun, super senses, and superior regeneration. Wamu is a warrior at heart and wants worthy opponents to fight, even though he still looks down on them. He respects great fighters and wants them to get stronger so that they can beat him in honorable combat. Unlike his comrades, Wamu's sense of honor is a testament to his character. He is a warrior and fights to the death while also being arrogant over his foes, but unlike Cars, he does not harm non-combatants and hates when people pity him for his defeats. He uses his cellular manipulation to create powerful gusts of wind, either by spinning his limbs so fast they generate wind or by producing steam from his lungs. This includes concentrated beams that can cut through stone with precision. This ability does damage Wamu's body and can kill him. Even in death, Wamu holds to his honor, even above his loyalty. ECDC is a confident, smug Pillarman who is calm and tactful, but also prone to extreme outbursts of emotion that sometimes confuse his enemies. He is a capable fighter, using his biology to raise his body temperature to dangerous levels. He can shoot out needle-like tendrils that inject his boiling blood into enemies. He can also self-detonate and possess other individuals by latching his cells onto their bodies. He is a sly and immoral Pillarman that uses all of his powers to help further Cars' goals, being the only Pillarman who was actually alive who sided with Cars. All of them are beaten by Joseph Joestar, though Joseph admits that his victory over Cars was a lucky break. Dio returns in Part 3, Stardust Crusaders. No longer just a vampire, he used what is called the Arrow to give himself access to stand powers. Stands are essentially projections of one's psyche, with unique abilities for each stand. Stands can only be seen by other stand users according to JoJo lore. His stand, the world, is super strong, super fast, and can stop time. And each time he uses this ability, the time stop length increases. From this point onwards, every villain has a stand. Dio keeps his vampire abilities, draining blood through his fingers as well as immortality and that pesky weakness to sunlight. In Part 3, Dio is the hidden mastermind who constantly bothers the Joestars through his minions, many of whom have their own stands. Because he possesses the body of Jonathan, he also gave the Joestar of the time, Jotaro, his own stand, Star Platinum. This also, however, gave Jotaro's mother, Holly, a stand, but since she's not as strong as Jotaro, she becomes sick. While Dio was already arrogant and ambitious, his new stand powers causes his ego to rise. But because he is also possessing a body that, by his own words, seems to be resisting him, Dio has also become very cautious. He's not as reckless as before, and uses his keen vampire senses and stand powers to overcome his foes with brute strength and superior intellect. He is a cunning tactician who uses his ability to stop time, super stand strength, and super vampire senses to always find an advantage against the Joestars, even checking to see if Jotaro's heart was still beating. Dio also did a lot off-screen, such as manipulating Enrico Pucci, a hypocrite priest, and fathering sons like Giorno Giovanna, the main protagonist of Part 5 Vento Oreo. In fact, the stand arrows also caused a lot of problems across the rest of the series. But ultimately, after Jotaro learns that his stand Star Platinum also has the same time stop power as the world, Dio is finally killed, freeing Jonathan's soul at last. Yoshikage Kira. In Morio, Japan, Yoshikage Kira is a middle-class man with an average job and a house. An introvert and hermit, it is because he is a serial killer with a fetish for human hands. Hands that he totes around as if they were living people, and which he replaces once they start decaying. He commits these felonies through the use of his stand, Killer Queen, a stand which can turn anything into a bomb which he can then detonate, wiping out objects and people in their entirety, leaving no evidence. He also has Sheer Heart Attack, a nigh invincible exploding tank that is attracted to heat. The hotter the temperature, the louder the Killer Queen gains some extra powers as well, such as pairing with Stray Cat, a stand that spits out invisible air bubbles that can now explode, and Bites the Dust, a tiny version of Killer Queen implanted into Hayato, the son of the man Kira impersonated, that will detonate and reset time should anyone discover Kira's identity. This ability was given to Kira when his father stabbed him with the stand arrow a second time. Kira has been a serial killer for a long time, having started when he was first young, and murdering Raimi, the now guardian of Ghost Alley. He also killed a dog. Kira is also a neat freak. He literally takes time to fix the shoes of another person, Koichi, even after beating him to death. And he has a habit of clipping his nails, which grow in response to distress. He keeps his killing spree hidden until he kills and harms several people that Josuke Higashikata, the Joestar in town, is friends with, at which point he changes his literal face through the forced use of another stand user in town. As a murderer, he is relentless. As a serial killer, he is calculating. His insatiable desire to kill his only conflict from living a truly peaceful and quiet life. Kira is also shown to be an addict. Even when disguised as another man with a loving wife and kid with a good home, he cannot contain his urges to murder and show his true self to others. It's revealed that his father took a stand arrow and gave multiple stands to people, Kira included, in order to protect his son. However, the combined efforts of Josuke and his friends are able to bring Kira out to the light and cause his death via ambulance. Diavolo. The mysterious Diavolo is a brutal tyrant at the head of the Passione Mafia, an Italian crime regime that deal in drugs and violence. No one knows Diavolo's true identity, and the crime boss takes extreme lengths to make sure that it stays that way. even murdering and dismembering a traitorous mafia member and sending the body parts packed in ice as an example for his very own special squad of executioners. He never meets with his people in person, using computer messages to contact his mafioso. Before he was a mob boss, Diavolo was already a twisted individual, burying his own mother alive and setting his home village on fire. He found the stand arrows from Egypt, taking one and establishing Passione with it. He asked Bruno Bucciarati, a lower officer of Passione, to deliver his estranged daughter, Trish Una, and to protect her from traitors who want to leverage her against Diavolo. It's later revealed that Diavolo is a schizophrenic psychopath that wants to erase any and all traces of his history and memory, even sneak attacking this stand user when his stand, Moody Blues, attempts to learn Diavolo's name. But also F this guy, seriously. There's two personalities inhabiting Diavolo. Doppio, the more friendly and docile split personality of Diavolo, talks to himself and to a frog while addressing his boss. He is not a fighter and is antagonized regularly, though he does show a moodier side. The other is Diavolo, and when he comes out, he is a brutal, ruthless, and an obsessive killer, eager to kill anyone and everyone, including his own daughter, to make sure he is always in the shadows. The only exception being Doppio, who he communicates to. His stand is King Crimson, with a smaller stand, Epitaph, attached to its head. Epitaph can see and predict the future, though only to a limited extent. But this is useful for King Crimson, who has the ability to erase time and space, undoing any and all actions that would have taken place in that deleted time frame and moving anyone caught in the power to the next moment. Like how I cut this part of the video to King Crimson is also super strong, able to punch holes in stand users and turn people into paste. He is also quite expressive. Diavolo desires the stand arrow to stand above all things. As luck would have it though, Giorno Giovanna is able to retrieve the stand arrow, awaken a Requiem ability, and place Diavolo in an infinite time loop of death and suffering. Enrico Pucci. Enrico Pucci is the local chaplain in the Green Dolphin Street Penitentiary. Once a devout Catholic who grew up in a religious upbringing, he is now a cold and cruel individual, obsessed with the intricate details of Dio's plan for heaven. Dio brought him to his side at a time when Pucci was shaken in his faith. Pucci was actually separated from his brother, Weather, when a woman stole Weather away from his mother. Pucci learns this through confession from that woman. When Weather starts dating his sister without knowing that they're related, Pucci becomes very concerned and takes the situation into his hands. His desire to protect his sister leads to the employment of a racist mob that beat Weather to near death and causing their sister to commit suicide. Pucci cursed God and found himself swayed to the worship of Dio, becoming intimately connected with his plans. As the chaplain of Green Dolphin Street Prison, he schemes to finish Dio's plan. He has Jolene Kujo, daughter of Jotaro Kujo, imprisoned wrongly, gathers several minions to assassinate her and her father, and torments its occupants regularly. He wants Jotaro's memories, as he had read Dio's diary, which contained the details. He has multiple stands that evolve as he pursues Dio's plan. His first stand, Whitesnake, is a self-aware stand that uses illusions to deceive people, including the ability to disguise itself, and its ability to create discs. These discs can contain memories of a person or even their stand and can be inserted into others to use. Those without their discs may end up dying. Discs can also be inserted to enable different properties in things, such as aversion to water. Sea Moon evolves from Whitesnake. It can manipulate the gravity of the world with itself at the center, such as inverting objects or people. It also has a bit of time manipulation, as shown here. And Made in Heaven is the culmination of Dio's plan. A stand that can speed up time to absurd levels, Pucci used this stand to reset the universe in Dio's vision and wipe out the Joestars. With this stand, Pucci creates a new universe, where the fate of people inside are determined by him alone. Pucci is eventually beaten when, in pursuing Emporio, he accidentally speeds up his own death when the stand disk containing Weather Report is inserted into Emporio. Emporio then used weather's ability to manipulate pure oxygen alongside other weather phenomena to counter Pucci's Made in Heaven. By speeding up time, he ended up hurting himself by accelerating the oxygen buildup inside of him, leaving him vulnerable to a barrage of explosive punches that kills Pucci and resets the universe once more, this time without him. Funny Valentine. In the first part of Araki's alternate universe, we have Funny Valentine, the President of the United States. When Funny Valentine was in the United States Army, he encountered the Devil's Palm, where he awoke with a stand power. In this specific part, and please bear with me here, the literal parts from the body of Jesus Christ can give stand powers, like with Valentine. Valentine, although patriotic and noble in attitude with a good sense of honor, is an incredibly evil and immoral person. He is firm in his idealism and his goals, but will not hesitate to sacrifice literally anyone or anything to gain an advantage in obtaining the corpse parts. He funds the Steel Ball Run Continental Race as a way to secure these corpse parts, manipulating things behind the scenes and even murdering his own servants when their usefulness expires. He does want to better his country, but claims ultimate power for himself in the end when he does get the entire holy corpse. Funny Valentine uses the stand D4C, or Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, which allows him to traverse across an infinite amount of alternate universes. This allows him to find other versions of people, including himself. The catch is that there is only one D4C in the multiverse, but every Funny Valentine shares the same goals, and he alone is immune to this one rule with D4C. An alternate version of a person or object must not make contact with their counterpart, otherwise they will gravitate towards the other and be erased from existence. He can also use this ability to teleport and appear wherever he wants, though it must be from in between two spaces. He can also effectively keep himself immortal by imparting D4C onto another universe's Funny Valentine, giving them all of his current memories. When Funny Valentine obtains the full body of Jesus Christ, it gives him the Love Train ability. With this ability, he can redirect all misfortune, while also transforming insignificant actions to benefit him greatly. This effectively cancels out all attacks, as they are redirected to people elsewhere. It can also transform D4C's smallest attacks into lethal strikes. Oh, and he has a gun. All of him. Funny Valentine is very powerful and incredibly intelligent, and with a lot of resources and minions, it spells trouble for Johnny Joestar and company. Valentine's comeuppance happens when Johnny unlocks the final part of his spin powers, the alternate equivalent of Hamon. Here is a visual of the spin summarized. With Tusk Act 4, Johnny is able to effectively incapacitate Valentine, leading to one final duel where this president with a 91% approval rating was taken out. Toru. Unlike many other villains in JJBA, Toru does not show up for a very long time. In fact, he is introduced as a friend and former love interest to Yasuo Hirose, a close friend of Josuke Higashikata. When he was left behind as a child, he grew up inside of a wasp's nest, eventually destroying it when he matured physically. Don't ask. In Jojolion, the main problem is the distribution of the Lokakaka fruit, a sort of miracle fruit that can cure anything. It uses the principle of equivalent exchange. A person who eats it gets one thing, but has another thing taken from them. Not much else is known about the fruit, but these rock humans want them. These mysterious people are like normal humans, but with all of these traits. Bang! Toru is a clever and expert manipulator. He is calm and collected, perfect for leadership with the erratic rock humans. They want the Lokakaka, specifically the strands used by the Higashikata family, to place themselves on top of all of society. He murdered this character's father after they discovered one of his insects, and fooled Yasuo into finding someone his stand could disguise himself as, choosing this doctor at the hospital to keep an eye out for the Lokakaka. He does somewhat care for Yasuo, telling her to leave when his stand ability activates, but the fruit takes priority. Toru's stand is Wonder of You, a self-activated, self-aware stand with the ability to disguise itself and induce calamity. Anyone that pursues Wonder of You will have random, improbable bad things happen to them, usually fatal. Even just wanting to hurt Wonder of You will cause its ability to trigger. It is inescapable and completely unpredictable. But if you were to attack Wonder of You without the intent to harm, the ability does not trigger. Toru eventually dies when the rock disease from one of the Higashikaras is transferred to him, curing the Higashikara and killing Toru. This stand can operate even after Toru's demise, but Wonder of You cannot protect itself against otherworldly or extra-dimensional attacks, as seen when Josuke's stand, Soft and Wet, is able to channel the power of the spin, which ignores the laws of reality, to obliterate Wonder of You for good. Subscribe to the Patreon for previews and extra content. I think I'm pretty good at this.